Good morning all. I welcome you all on the behalf of StudyIQ IAS English. My name is Pritesh Mathurkar. I extend my warmest regards to everyone, those who are joining me live and also to those who will be watching these sessions at their own convenience. So I extend my warmest regards for the discussion of current affairs of today, that is 4th of May of 2023. This session being an exemplary session in two ways, that for the first time, our institute is bringing to you such detailed analysis of current affairs. In these sessions, we will be targeting Hindu from analysis perspective. Why so? Because each year, the civil services examination follows the theory of evolution as prescribed by Charles Darwin. Okay. So you can treat the civil services examination as a breathing examination because it tends to evolve each year. Okay. So the evolvement is in two things. Number first, the analysis part, and number two, the application part. And for both of these things, the analysis of newspaper becomes very significant, and it also comes very handy. Why it becomes significant? Because newspaper is the only source from wherein you can get good analysis, from where you can reach to the core of any issue and you can paint a picture. And the application part vis-a-vis the utilitarian part. Okay, I have been adamant since day one from when we started these sessions that any content you watch in this session should have a utilitarian value. So the content which I will be discussing with each and every one of you guys will be from a utilitarian perspective. You can directly utilize this content in your mains, in your prelims, and you can get good marks. Because in civil services examination, it is all about marks. You have to score marks, guys, because you need to get a good All India rank. And the hack which I'm telling you, mind you, this is a very important hack. Do not be dependent on your interview marks at all for your All India rank. Try to score as many marks in mains as possible, because if you score more marks in mains, then even if your interview does not go the way you want it to, but still you can get a good All India rank. And mains is all about how you express your thoughts. Okay, it is basically an examination of expression. It is an examination of expression of the experience which you have got in this preparation. And the number one source for your experience is going to be newspaper analysis. So everyday lecture, what I'll be doing, what will be the flow of our lecture? So every day I will be discussing with you the detailed PDFs of that particular day Hindus, which are important from prelims perspective as well as which are important from the mains perspective. Okay, and all of these PDFs will be readily available to you the moment this session ends on a Telegram channel. I will highlight you that channel too, so that as soon as this session is over, you have a working understanding and you are summarizing that day's current affairs in just 15 to 20 minutes. So 45 to 50 minutes of our discussion, 15 to 20 minutes of your analysis, it is taken care of. So what is expected from your end, guys, that before joining this session, you have already gone through the day's Hindu, you have already marked up the articles which you think are important, and you are matching that information with me, because this will do what? This will instill confidence in yourself that yes, we are on right track. And in civil service and preparation, guys, confidence is of paramount importance. Okay, without confidence, this examination is not for the weak-hearted. Confidence along with consistency, the two C's are very important, and of course concentration. So 3 C's I can say, but if you sell through this properly, you will be taken care of. And guys, whatever PDFs that I will be discussing, whatever current affairs material that I will be discussing in this lecture will translate roughly into 30 to 40 marks in prelims and approximately 300 to 400 marks in mains. And if essay comes in your purview, if the essay comes with regards to such kind of current affairs, then you can expect the coverage to be approximately 500 to 600 marks too. Okay, bearing the optional. Okay, optionals are separate, so any content can be found resonating with the optional discourse. You can even score marks in optionals too. Okay, so please treat this sessions, please treat this content from a utilitarian perspective. Please do a little bit of homework so that you and me, we all become comfortable. Okay, and I'm not a faculty, guys, who is going to cramp up as much information in an article as possible. No, because I know many of you are aspiring aspirants, like you have started the journey on day 1 and now you are somewhere near day 10, day 15, 1 month, 2 months. So all of you will face some difficulty in analyzing Hindu. this is where I will come handy. I will be a person who will not be judging you from a very drastic perspective, but I understand that you face difficulties in understanding the language. I understand you face difficulty in appreciating the diversity. So that is what you and me will set sail together. So you and me will slowly move ahead, and we will slowly win the race, because in the end, slow but steady will always win the race. And that should be your sumo motto for clearing civil services examination. Okay, slow but steady will always win the race, but you have to keep on toiling each day. Okay, so before I move ahead, again I will like to introduce myself first. Okay, so my name is Pritesh Mathurkar. I will be your primary faculty for handling the newspaper analysis with regards to the Hindu. Okay, there is a Telegram channel called as HAZ. I have deliberately kept the name HAZ on the lines of SEZ, the Special Economic Zone. Why HAZ? Because name itself will be written as Hindu Analysis Zone, and you can just do a global search on Telegram via at the Hindu Analysis Zone. Okay, so you just do a global search on your mobile screens, on your laptop screens, you will get this channel, and this channel will help you in getting the PDFs, and this channel will help you in maintaining your 4 file folders of each GS paper and also a essay paper, so that when you go to mains, you have your own material of current affairs. And that is what is needed, guys. The toppers use this. The toppers have their own material, and using their own material, they crack the examination. And I would like to quote the dialogue of Three Idiots movie of the Viru Sahasrabuddhe, that life is like a race. If you don't run fast, you are like a broken hand. So you have to move with pace, and this being a competition, you have to crush others. Okay, so any Avengers fan over here, so you have to be like Thanos. Just by snap of this, you have to eliminate the competition, and this snapping I will be teaching you in this sessions. Okay, so let's start with today's discussion. So those of you who are watching me for the first time, those are seeing me live, so some of the articles will be complicated today, and those of you who are seeing me repeatedly, you know the flow. Okay, so in each session I tend to first introduce the severity level of that day's current affairs. So today's severity level is between 3 to 5. Okay, majority of the articles of today are between a severity level of 3 to 5, so fairly not that important from mains perspective, but they are rather important from prelims perspective too. So you need to understand the articles from the prelims perspective more. So more one-handed information, more one-liner information in these articles, and one article which is there on artificial intelligence today. Okay, one article, I'm again reiterating, guys, it is on artificial intelligence. That article is one-stop destination for your essay. That article is one-stop destination for whatever is happening in the field of AI. Okay, so you have to summarize that article at any cost. I will be discussing that article in very much detail. So that one article is on severity level 10. Rest of the articles, they are between 3 to 5. Okay, so not that fairly significant from mains perspective, but you can be asked questions with regards to prelims. Okay, so let's begin with the very first article. Okay, Valor and Prestige, the world of special operations. Okay, so this article, it is with regards to the rescue operations which the Ministry of External Affairs has been coordinating with the Army, with the Navy, with the Air Force, with regards to the people trapped, with regards to the Indian diaspora trapped in the civil war torn regions. So you have presently Operation Kaveri going on in North Sudan, and this article is basically with regards to the challenges which the forces face in those environments, and what can be done to increase their motivation, what can be done to increase India's reputation as a global partner in such kind of circumstances. So this is one of the very few articles, guys, which has been written directly by the Air Vice Marshal Mohan Bahadur. Okay, he is a retired Air Marshal, but he was there in the Air Force when you had the hijacking of the Indian Airlines flight, and which was diverted towards Afghanistan. So this person has got on hands experience, on the ground experience of such kind of things. So this person has written some very exemplary words with regards to the difficulties in the operations which the forces face. And we have already done one editorial, one side editorial, if you remember, that what are the challenges of the operation which is presently going on, and what needs to be done further, and how are the diaspora separated in these terms, and where the diaspora is situated, what are the occupations in which Indian diaspora is serving in other countries. So this article can be treated as a continuation of that article, but this article will give you in-depth analysis of the challenges which are faced from the forces perspective. So you remember that editorial? In that editorial we discussed that what is the way forward. A way forward needed is a special task force, okay, a special task force for handling this kind of situations, and there has also been a parliamentary committee which has advocated for that, okay. So this article can be treated as a continuation of that article. So I hope that you have summarized that article. If not, you can again go back to the lectures, you can see that article, and please add this article to that article too, okay. So in this article, two things will be of paramount importance. Number first, the challenges, and number two, the equipments which we rely on for this rescue operations, and how the induction of two new aircrafts in the Indian Air Force has changed the modulus operandi in these operations, okay, because such operations are heavily reliant on technological innovations. Such operations are heavily reliant on the skill of the persons who operate those technological innovations. So skill, technological innovations, and challenges. So these three things will be primarily targeting from this article perspective, and please treat this article from prelims perspective more, and only the challenges from the mains perspective, okay. So let's move ahead with the discussion. Okay, the evacuation of 121 Indians from Wadi Senda, north of Khartoum in Sudan, in the dead of night using an Indian Air Force C-130J Super Hercules has been lauded all around. Okay, so please remember the name of the plane, C-130J Super Hercules. Okay, and you have another aircraft which is called as C-17 Globemaster Heavy. Okay, so you need to remember two aircraft which are being put forward for this rescue operations. The name of the aircraft is C-130J Super Hercules, and the name of the other aircraft, it is called as C-17 Globemaster. Okay, C-17 Globemaster. Okay, why these aircrafts are so important? Because they can go to astronomical distances without refueling. Okay, so when C-130J landed in the middle of night in Wadi Senda, so the engines were kept running, okay. The pilots didn't wait, they didn't shut down the engines. Why? Because that was the astronomical distance, or the distance through which a plane can travel without refueling is astronomical. So both C-130J and C-17 Globemaster can travel through great distances. They are having very efficient engines. So just imagine that this is the runway, and you have to land the aircraft, you have to pick the persons, and you have to take off. So if you are having long range aircrafts, wherein, so if I'm quoting very crudely, the average of this airplanes is very good, okay. Indians, they do prefer what is the mileage, what is the average. So in crude layman terms, the average of this aircrafts is very good, okay. So they can go to long distances without refueling. They are called as a long range aircrafts. So the pilots don't need to shun off the engines while the people are onboarding, okay. They can just lower the thrust down, and the people can quickly come inside the aircraft, and the aircraft can take off, okay. Okay, C-130J in IAF's inventory, and we now have this capability if the political leadership decides to intervene in such critical situations where national interest and reputation are at stake. Before the Sudan rescue, there have been other such missions that are known in the open domain. The first was the evacuation of Indian embassy personnel from Herat in Afghanistan in April 2020. All of you know, USA left Afghanistan in lingo, so that triggered political and civil war crisis in Afghanistan. The aircraft flew from India and had its engines running even after the landing. The IF's guard commandos stood guard while the diplomat staff empaneled. Okay, so emplaned. So what is the beauty of this aircraft? Because of its long range, you can keep the airplane engines running. So the time of rescue dwindles. Okay, the time of rescue shortens. So as soon as you land, you emplane the persons and you take off. That is the beauty of this, and this was not there in the prior rescue operations. So technological innovations do play a very important role in the rescue of the Indian persons. Okay. So what are the challenges that are faced in the Operation Kaveri? Okay, while the crew on these missions were awarded for their professionalism and gallantry, what needs to be appreciated too is the aircrew selection and their special training. Okay, so you need to have the special training. Why you need to have special training for these operations? Because of this challenges. Guys, please understand these challenges very properly. You can directly utilize these challenges in the mains. Okay, in case of Sudan rescue, that is the Operation Kaveri which is now going on, the crew faced many problems too. Intelligence was poor. Okay, number first, the intelligence was poor. Why? Because imagine that you have to rescue people from a country where two factions of militaries are fighting amongst themselves. So it is a very hostile environment. Okay, you don't have good interpreters, you don't have good intelligence gatherers working over there because of the hostility. Because if they are caught between the fires, then the entire person can be disassembled, the entire operation can be disassembled. So intelligence gathering was poor, and the runway was rough with no landing aids. So just imagine that you are a pilot of a fighter aircraft and you have to land on a runway where there are no lights, there are no aids, and the runway is not even visible. So what a daunting task, and that too you have to land the aircraft in night time, guys. So this is very challenging. Hence you require what? Hence you require special training. Okay, landing. Okay, all the runway generation on the heads-up display, although there was top class onboard aircraft instrumentation. So top class onboard aircraft instrumentation such as synthetic runway generation on heads-up display. So now what you have with regards to the pilots, so previously pilots had to rely on the screens. So if you go to an aircraft cockpit, so you had screens for navigation, you had screens for the weather radar. Now you have what? In their helmet itself, they have a heads-up display. So there is a glass panel, and on that glass panel all the vital information is displayed, like the aircraft speed, the true speed, the ground speed, the navigation waypoints. And in that heads-up display you also have a synthetic runway generator, wherein if you see through the heads-up display, you can practically see the extremities of runways, and you can see if there are any obstacles are there. So this is a very new innovation with regards to the training and with regards to the landing of the aircraft in precarious conditions. So intelligence was poor, runway was rough with no landing edge, although they had onboard top class aircraft instrumentation such as synthetic runway generation on heads-up display, electro-optical night vision capability, electro-optical night vision capability. Okay, so electro-optical night vision capability is reliant on which technology? It is reliant on infrared technology. Please remember this point. Okay, on which technology is electro-optical night vision dependent? It is dependent on infrared technology. Okay, so in your helmet itself, in front of your eyes, you have two infrared projectors, and they tend to paint a picture green in front of you. So it's basically a green light screen. So this technology has been a point of source, or this technology has been inspired by the night vision of the animals. So if you see tigers night vision, if you see lions night vision, they can see excellent in night times. The nocturnal animals, they can see excellent in night time because they have infrared receptors. So that is what these soldiers or these units were equipped with. So you had electro-optical night vision capability, night vision goggles, and of course great confidence in the ability to pull it off. In the end, what you require? Great confidence, guys. Without confidence, it is nothing. Okay, life is nothing if you don't have the will, if you don't have the courage, if you don't have the confidence to achieve higher feats. So our soldiers were basically trained for this, and add to the icing on the cake, they had good onboard instrumentation system. Please remember, these are very technical terms, these are new technologies. Synthetic runway generation on heads-up display, it is called as HUD, electro-optic imaging capability, and night vision goggles. Coupled with that, the Josh of the Indian commandos. Okay, so let's move ahead. Okay, every member of such a mission bears on its shoulders the weight of nation's prestige. So if any soldier is going, he will bear the prestige of the nation on his shoulders. They are called India's strategic corporals. Please remember the word. Which persons go on this rescue missions? What are they called technically? They are called as India's strategic corporals. Okay, so simple one-liner in prelims. Okay, what are the forces or what are the soldiers that are sent to such kind of missions called? They are called as India's strategic corporals. Okay, and this term was coined by whom? Okay, this term was coined by General Charles K. Krulak of the US Marine Corps. Denotes that in modern warfare, the actions of even the enlisted man on the front line has strategic effect on the nation's policies, and that the institutional training should cater for this. What do you mean by this? That the soldiers' actions on the front line has strategic effect on the nation's policies. Now guys, India is lauded for such kind of rescue efforts. Even today, India is being lauded globally for Operation Kaveri. Why? Because you have close coordination with different ministries. You have close coordination with the different diplomatic missions on board. Why? Because India is rescuing the people. The people are first being transferred to Saudi Arabia using French vessels, using Saudi Arabian vessels, and from Saudi Arabia, the people are being transported to India. So, the soldiers who are rescuing, they have a indirect impact on nation's policies too. So if I am the pilot, I am the fighter aircraft pilot in this missions, so on my shoulders I'm carrying the responsibility of what? I'm carrying the responsibility of nation's strategic policies too, because if I succeed, my nation will be lauded for its policies, and if I don't succeed, if I fail somehow, it does not mean that my valor will go in vain. No, I will still be getting that valor, but the nation's policies will suffer in some or the other way. Okay, so please remember this guys, that there is a ethical angle to this, there is an emotional angle to this, there is a emotive dimension to this, that if this operations run successfully, then there is a confidence instilled in the entire nation. Even if you see the pictures of the people working over here, you feel proud that yes, we are in a country where our India strategic corporals do such fantastic rescue operations. Okay, and similar thing we did in Turkey. When Turkey was riddled with an earthquake, India's NDRF, they reverted back with great valor. They went over there, they rescued many people. So you had Twitter flooding with all those images. So it instills confidence and it put forward what? The nation's strategic policies too. So you can interlink Operation Kaveri with the strategic national interest and the strategic national policies of India, and in general the image of India in global diplomacy too. Okay, so let's move ahead. Okay. It is only right that this ethos and training in IF Special Operations Crew not to be diluted by the lure of sending the versatile C-130s for routine tasks and VIP carriage. Okay, so in India, what do we have? This is a little bit of saddening thing, that in India, C-130 Super Hercules, they are normally sent for VIP carriage, they are sent for routine tasks. So in general, if you see this aircraft, you feel that, oh, this is being used for transportation of some VIP person. So you shouldn't think from this perspective. Okay, what Air Marshal is trying to convey in this sentence, you must be thinking guys, that why I'm discussing this sentence. Why? Because this sentence is perspective altering. You need to alter the perspective of seeing towards the things. So if you're seeing C-130 Super Hercules in the sky, and if you think that, oh, this is only being used for political purposes, for VIP carriage, no guys, this aircraft is being used to rescue hundreds and millions of Indians who are trapped in the war-torn areas of the world. So this aircraft were also used for taking the Indian citizens out from the Ukrainian regions of Kharkiv. You had roughly 20,000 Indian students who were pursuing medical sciences over there. So you had these aircrafts going over there and rescuing the people from there too. Okay, so you should alter your perspective that no, now we have India's strategic corporals who are well trained, who are instilled with confidence, and that they can rescue Indians wherever trapped. Okay, the last line, the IFC 130J Special Ops Squadrons, there are two and they call themselves the Wild Vipers. So please remember the name of the squadrons of the C-130J Super Hercules. They are called as what squadrons? They are called as Wild Vipers and the Raiding Raptors. So you can use this in ethics, you can use this as case studies, you can quote this in interview too if you are asked. So the squadrons of them, they are called as Wild Vipers and Raiding Raptors. It is incumbent on the leadership to ensure that their sting stays potent. Okay, so it is now up to you and me, guys, that we take pride in this, we educate the people of India with regards to this, and we instill even more confidence in their valor. Okay, so name of the squadrons, you have two squadrons of the strategic corporals, you have Wild Vipers and you have Raiding Raptors. So this is what you need to remember from all of these entries. Okay, so this was the first article which was important today. Now the second article which I will be discussing with you all, this is the most important article on artificial intelligence. Okay, so please understand this article very properly, because in this article we'll be discussing the latest trends in artificial intelligence. Okay, where artificial intelligence is heading, what are the regulations, what are the challenges faced by the regulators, what are the issues in deployment of artificial intelligence, what are the risk factors, and what is the way forward. Okay, so this is a very important explainer in today's Hindu, and this has come as a full one-page explainer in the text and context page. And please mind you guys, this explainer or this text and context page has been started by Hindu exclusively for you guys. So it becomes paramount that you understand this article, you understand the intricacies, and please, you need to summarize this article, guys. Okay, unless and until you summarize this article on your own, it will not be of any utilitarian value. And all of this PDFs will be readily available to you the moment this session ends on the Telegram channel. So you don't need to worry at all. Okay, don't fear, Pritesh is here. Okay, the EU's Artificial Intelligence Act. So yesterday only European Union passed a very potent act with regards to the regulation of AI, and that act has been lauded globally as one of the very dire regulations, one of the many practical regulations for regulating the impacts of AI on the social sector and on the economic sector too. Okay, so what questions we'll be discussing in this article? Okay, the first question, what are the stipulations mentioned in the new draft documents of the European Union's AI Act? Why are AI tools often called as black boxes? Okay, a very important question. Why are AI tools often called as black boxes? What are the 4 risk categories of AI? This is very important. What are the 4 risk categories of AI? How did the popularity of ChatGPT accelerate and change the process of bringing in regulation for artificial intelligence? All of you now know that there is a new chat box called as ChatGPT. Okay, I bet that majority of you must have used it. So ChatGPT 4 has been released in the past month, which can even recognize images now, guys. So see where artificial intelligence is taking us. Okay, before I move forward, guys, I'm quoting the statement for each and every one of you. And if you have an essay, if you have an ethical answer, if you have a dilemma based question in mains, so you should start your answer by using this quote. Okay, please listen to my quote very properly. Okay, but before this quote, I'm giving you homework. Okay, you have to see who is the father of AI. Which person or which man is touted as the father of AI today? Okay, he was in news yesterday only because he quit Google. He's aged 80 plus. So he quit Google yesterday and he warned the world that AI is not going in the right direction. So it's your duty that you will discuss or you will just read something with regards to the father of AI and what is his statement. So I'm quoting his words directly. Please understand his words very properly. According to the father of AI, he says that it is not important what we will do with AI. I'm again rephrasing, guys. It is not important what we will do with AI. What is important is what AI will do with us. Okay, why? Because artificial intelligence is now moving towards general intelligence. Okay, artificial intelligence moving towards general intelligence means what? That general intelligence will not require inputs. So treat artificial intelligence like a small stage of a baby. So 1-year-old baby, 2-year-old baby, 3-year-old baby, 4-year-old baby, then as soon as baby crosses a certain threshold, do you need to give inputs to the baby? Wash your hands, brush your teeth? No, the baby starts to function on itself. So now AI is moving towards GI. It is moving from AI to AGI, aggregate general intelligence. Okay, so general intelligence means you don't need to give inputs to that intelligence now. That intelligence can function on its own. Hence, the father of AI, the father of artificial intelligence, when he quitted Google yesterday, he gave the statement that it is not what we will do with AI, but it is rather important what AI will do with us. Okay, so you can have a robot revolution globally. We don't know where it will take us. Already we are facing climate change. Now we cannot face robot change too. Okay, jokes apart, but we should move ahead. Okay, so you need to remember certain terms from this article, both from prelims perspective as well as from mains perspective. After intense last minute negotiations in the past few weeks on how to bring general purpose artificial intelligence systems, this term is very important, GPAIS. What does GPAIS stand for? It stands for General Purpose Artificial Intelligence Systems. Like OpenAI's ChatGPT. OpenAI's ChatGPT. So OpenAI is an organization, is an OpenAI lab which has launched ChatGPT. You will understand what is ChatGPT in the future of this article. So most of you must have used. So OpenAI's ChatGPT will fall under which term? It will fall under GPAIS, General Purpose Artificial Intelligence System. So if anyone asks you what is ChatGPT, your answer should be that ChatGPT is GPAIS, General Purpose Artificial Intelligence System. Okay. Under the ambit of regulation, the members of the European Parliament reached a preliminary deal this week on a new draft of European Union's ambitious Artificial Intelligence Act, the first draft drafted 2 years ago. Okay, so why it is necessary for regulating artificial intelligence? Okay, you can quote directly this in essays, you can quote directly this in your answers. Okay, yeah. So good morning everyone, those who are joining me now. Okay, so as artificial technologies become omnipresent and their algorithms are more advanced, artificial intelligence are capable of doing what? They are capable of performing a wide variety of tasks, including voice assistance. You have OK Google, Hey Siri on your smartphones, recommending music, Spotify, YouTube Music. Okay, driving cars, Tesla, self-driving, detecting cancer, of course detecting cancer, and even deciding whether you get shortlisted for a job. Okay, so now you getting a job will also be done by AI. You getting shortlisted, you will be feeding AI with algorithms. AI will be shortlisting you on the basis of those algorithms. The risk and the uncertainties associated with them have also been ballooned. Okay, so you have certain risk, you have certain uncertainties. So you are driving a vehicle, you are driving Tesla, and you have turned on autopilot on Tesla. Now, what are the risks? Will the autopilot function in every condition? What are the uncertainties? Uncertainties are like if autopilot malfunctions, then what? You are sleeping and the autopilot is malfunctioning, then what you will do? So you have certain risks, certain uncertainties which will come with all of these applications. Hence, you need to regulate AI. Many AI tools essentially are black boxes. What are AI tools? Please understand the meaning properly. What are AI tools? They are black boxes. Yeah, good morning Anup, good morning Jagriti. So many AI tools are essentially what? They are black boxes. What are black boxes? Meaning even those who designed them cannot explain what goes inside them to generate a particular output. Okay. So let's say my hand is a black box. I am feeding this with certain algorithms, and when I'm feeding this with certain algorithms, I don't know what will come outside this. A very peculiar example happened in Facebook. Say they developed two chatbots. Chatbot means they had two robots. Both of them were functioning on artificial intelligence. Both of them had their neural networks. So Facebook programmed them and they started conversing with one another. As soon as they started conversing with one another, guys, they developed their own language of conversation and they disconnected themselves from the network. So see how smart those chatbots were. Like, just imagine that I'm a chatbot and you are a chatbot. You and me were connected to the internet, but we came to know that somebody is watching us. So we did what? We evolved our own communication language in a pick of second, and we disconnected ourselves from the internet so that you and my conversation remains private. So this is what happened with Facebook's chatbot. Hence the name black box, because the algorithms which you are putting in from this side, you don't know what will be coming out from this side. Hence all the AI tools, they are what? They are black boxes. What are black boxes? Meaning that even those who designed them cannot explain what goes inside them to generate a particular output. Okay. Again, the negatives of AI, there have been wrongful arrest due to AI enabled facial recognition. Now, if you go to China, you have AI being deployed over there for recognizing people. So you had wrongful arrest, you had discrimination, you had societal biases sweeping into AI outputs, and most recently, and how chatbot based on large language models. It is called as LLMs, large language models, like Generative Pattern Transformer 3, Chat GPT 3, Generative Pattern Transformer GPT 3 and 4 can generate versatile human competitive and genuine looking content which may be inaccurate due to copyrighted material. So if you are conversing with ChatGPT can recreate poems for you, it can recreate beautiful images for you, it can recreate beautiful lines for you, it can recreate essays for you, it can recreate answers for you. Okay, so all of this is relying on what? All of this is being relying on data. From where the data is coming? Data is coming from all the data which is being pumped on the internet. Some of that data may be copyrighted. So ChatGPT is also using that. Okay, so the full form, what is ChatGPT? Basically, ChatGPT is GPAIS, General Purpose Artificial Intelligence System. What are the language models called? They are called as LLMs, large language models, like generative pre-trained in the sense of what? That you will have a data set, on that data set the chatbot is trained. So if this is the data set, so the chatbot is trained with regard to this data set. So the bigger your data set, the more your data, the more trained the artificial intelligence system will be. Okay, so generative pre-trained transformer 3 and 4 can generate versatile human competitive and genuine looking content which may be inaccurate or copyrighted material. Okay. So most recently, you know that the industry biggies like CEO of Twitter, Elon Musk, you had the founder of Apple, Steve Wozniak, they wrote an open letter asking AI labs to stop the training of AI models more powerful than GPT-4 for 6 months. Why? Because they should be developed only once we are confident that their effects will be positive and their risk will be more manageable. Okay, so I will like to give a very good case study with regards to ChatGPT 4. So this case study happened with a man. Okay, so a man was conversing with ChatGPT on his laptop. So that chatbot fell in love with the man. Just imagine that you are conversing with the artificial intelligence system on your keyboard, and that artificial intelligence system is falling in love with you. And ChatGPT 4 actually asked the man to marry him and file for a divorce with his wife. So now you have feelings, now you have emotions coming into play, and this is a relevant case study, guys. So the ChatGPT 4 has gone beyond manageable circumstances. So this happened in actuality, that artificial intelligence system is asking a man to marry him and divorce his wife, and that ChatGPT 4 was also on the verge of drafting a divorce petition for the wife, for the man, sorry. So see where we are going now. Okay, so you had open letter, it has been formed. Okay, so now why the act has been formed, what is the purpose of the act, you need to understand. First, I introduced you to what are black boxes. Second, we sought some of the misoccurrences or some of the intricacies, some of the wrongdoings of AI. Now we are focusing on the purpose of the act, and this you should use from your mains perspective very potently. Guys, I'm moving very slowly with this article because I know this article will have a direct utility in your mains answers. So please understand the purpose very well, because you as future IAS officers, you as future civil servants of India, you need to do proper implementation, proper execution and proper drafting too. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, the legislation was drafted in 2021 with the aim of bringing transparency, trust and accountability to AI, creating a framework to mitigate risk to safety, health, fundamental rights and democratic values of the EU. So you need to bring in what? You need to bring in safety, health, fundamental rights and democratic values. The legislation seeks to strike a balance between promoting the uptake of AI while mitigating or preventing harms associated with certain uses of technology. See, any legislation should not curtail any technological innovation. No. Is this legislation curtailing the use of AI? No. It is rather encouraging the uptake of AI. You should use AI. Okay, it's basically for our purpose only, it is basically for our comfort only. So should we completely negate AI? No, but we should regulate AI. Where we should regulate AI? So that it does not cause harm to us. So it seeks to strike a balance between promoting the uptake of AI while mitigating or preventing harms associated with certain uses of the technology. So that should be the purpose of any act. It should not curtail completely, but rather it should see in those territories, it should see those gray areas where harm can be caused, and that areas needs to be curtailed. Okay, so let's move forward now. What was the draft document entailed? So in that draft document, you have the definition of AI. You don't need to summarize this definition at all. Okay, this is very technical definition. I'm just reading for you. You can skip this definition completely. I'm again reiterating, guys. This is the definition of AI according to the draft act which the EU has passed. You don't need to remember this definition, just understand it and keep in your mind. It defines AI as software that is developed with one or more of the techniques that can, for a given set of human defined objectives, generate outputs such as content. So you have ChatGPT generating a poem. Predictions, so you have YouTube history. Based on your YouTube history, you are suggested next videos. Recommendations, you have recommendations on YouTube Music. Or decisions, influencing the environments they interact with. So this is the definition of AI which is being put forward by that legislation. Okay, the Act's central approach. Okay, you need to remember this, guys, and you should quote this as an opening line in your essay, as an opening line in your answers. This is very important. Hence, I have written on the board, remember the approach. This you should remember and this you should use as opening line. So please write this line separately in your file folders. The Act's central approach is the classification of AI tech based on the level of risk they pose to the health and safety or fundamental rights of a person. The Act's central approach is the classification of AI tech. So AI tech needs to be classified. Classified means it needs to be grouped. Grouping in terms of what? On the level of risk. On the level of risk they pose to health and safety of fundamental rights of the person. There are 4 risk categories in the Act. There are 4 risk categories in the Act. Number first, unacceptable. Number 2, high risk. Number 3, limited risk. And number 4, minimal risk. So what are the 4 categories of AI? Number 1, unacceptable. No sir, we cannot accept this. No madam, this is highly unacceptable. Okay, we cannot accept an AI which will go against our will, which will try to pursue us to do something. Okay, so you must be remembering there was a game called as Blue Whale, wherein the persons who played that game, they end up committing suicide. Okay, so we don't want that kind of intelligence which is pursuing people to harm themselves, guys. Okay, so unacceptable, you have high, then you have limited risk, and then you have minimal risk. Okay, so can you use AI for giving you recommendations of music? Yes. Can you use AI for giving or performing certain tasks for a physical disabled person, like turn on the lights, turn off the lights, turn on the TV, turn on the laptops, turn on the computer? Yes, you can do that. So that will have very limited or minimal risk. So you can limit AI till that, but certain categories of AI will be unacceptable, and this acts put forward the unacceptable category. Okay. So what are the unacceptable category? The use of real-time facial and biometric identification system in public spaces. So this is highly unacceptable. Okay, because your face, your biometric is your own identity and it cannot be used for a general purpose. Systems of social scoring of citizens by the governments leading to unjustified and disproportionate detrimental treatment. So this is with regards to China. Okay, so you know that China has basically ill-treated the Uyghur Muslims. So if you go to the Xinjiang region of China, so China has installed AI recognition or AI enabled face recognition cameras on the stops, and they do what? They do profiling of the citizens. If you go to China, there is a citizen centric score, there is a social score. So if you score high on that, you are allowed to go for public transport, you can eat in restaurants, but if you score low, then all of your privileges are curtailed. So this is unacceptable on the fact of regulations. Okay, so the systems of social scoring by the citizens by the governments leading to unjustified and disproportionate detrimental treatment. Okay, technologies which can exploit the vulnerabilities of young, elderly or persons with disabilities. So this becomes a part of your GS paper too. Okay, the vulnerable sections of Indian society: children, women, elderly people and the persons with disabilities, and also the PVTGs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So AI cannot be used for profiling of such, AI cannot be used to alter the life of such persons. So this is a very, very gray area. Okay, and certain high risk category, so that was unacceptable. You cannot use biometrics, you cannot do social scoring. What are the high risk categories where you need to be cautioned about? They include biometric identification and categorization of natural persons, AI used in healthcare, education, employment, law enforcement, justice delivery systems. So you had a recommendation of this lecture. Okay, you have subscribed to this channel and this channel has given you recommendation that okay, now I'm going live, please join this. Who is doing this? And AI is doing this for you. So this comes in a high category. Why? Because I'm educating you all today, I'm imparting knowledge to you all today, and if I give you wrong knowledge, if I give you wrong information, then ultimately what will happen? Your preparation will suffer, you will not able to be clear the civil services examination, guys. So the high risk categories will include what? They will include health, education, employment, and most importantly justice enforcement too, because there needs to be something called as rule of the law. So these are certain high risk categories. So please remember severe category, or sorry, please remember unacceptable category. No sir, we cannot accept AI in this. And please remember the high risk category too. Okay, so now this article paints the last picture, that what are the standard operating procedures, what this act or what this law tends to actually implement in the society. So there are 3 standard operating procedures which that act gives, and again you can use this SOPs for implementation for supplementing your answers in mains. I'm being adamant, guys, I'm being very blunt, very frank. If you don't work upon this article on your own, it's of no use. So after this class, please join the Telegram group, please see this article, and I'm giving you my guarantee that using this article, you will at least be able to write 50 marks in mains. That is the severity of this article. So now let's move ahead with the SOPs for implementation. Okay. Before high-risk AI systems can make it to the market, they will be subject to strict reviews known in the Act as confirmatory assessments. So any high-risk category AI deployment, it will be subject to strict reviews before they are being implemented. Okay, so those that are under development can be included if they meet the high-risk criteria. So you need to do what? You need to establish a database first. Okay, you need to establish a database. That database will what? It will do the risk profiling. It will do the risk profiling of AI. It will do the risk profiling of AI. if that AI is coming in high or unacceptable category. Unacceptable, no, we cannot do that. High risk category, so before it makes to the market, they will be subject to strict reviews known as confirmatory assessments. So this is SOP number 1. What is SOP number 2? It also requires that such systems to be transparent, explainable, allow human oversight, and give clear and adequate information to the user. Okay, so I bet that majority of you who will be watching these lectures, you must have turned location services on your smartphone, but go to settings, go to Google account, go to data and privacy, see there whether your web and activity is on, whether your location history was on. I bet 90% of students, 90% of the aspirants, or 90% of the people in general don't know these settings. So go to settings on your phone, go to accounts, go to Google account, go to data and privacy, see there where you have turned it on or not. So it is the duty that we need to educate the end user with regards to the use of AI. So if Google is using your web and activity, if Google is using your location history for tracking, for profiling, that is not good, guys. And you all know that all of this data is being sold on dark web. So your profiling is basically sold on a dark web as a person, as a third person. So it's your data, guys, but someone else is profiting. So that is not acceptable. Okay, that is a high risk category. So it also requires such systems to be transparent, explainable, allow human oversight, and give clear and adequate information to the user. Okay. High risk systems. Number 3, high risk systems must comply with mandatory post market monitoring obligations. So post market obligations such as logging performance data and maintaining continuous compliance, with special attention paid to how these programs change through their lifetime. So you need to ensure compliance, you need to ensure monitoring even after post market application. So these are the 3 SOPs which you need to remember from implementation perspective of this article. Okay. And with regards to chat GPT, what is the recent proposals? So lawmakers now target the use of copyrighted materials by companies deploying generative tools such as OpenAI, ChatGPT, or image generator. As these tools train themselves from large sets of text and visual data, they will have to disclose any copyrighted material used to develop that system. So if you are generating some data using ChatGPT, and if that ChatGPT is using a data set which is a copyrighted material, no, that cannot be done. So any copyrighted material cannot be used as a data set. Okay, so you need to remember this article from this perspective. So guys, I am summarizing the entire article for you now. Hello. Yeah. Sorry for the delay. There was some issue with my microphone. So let's move ahead. Yeah. So in this article, we need to summarize 3 things. Again, I'm reiterating for you all this article. So this article, it with regards to the regulation of AI, with regards to how you should move with AI further. And in this article, you need to understand 3 things. What 3 things you need to understand all? So the 3 things which you need to understand in this article are from this perspective. The first thing which you all need to understand is okay, the first thing which you all need to understand is from this perspective. The first thing, that AI has now become a potent. AI now has become a living entity. So there are general purpose artificial intelligence systems. These systems can now think on their own. These systems need to use what they need to use, certain regulations. These systems need to be regulated, and these systems are basically black boxes. Why black boxes? Because you don't know what goes in and what comes out of this. So these being black boxes, you need to regulate this AI on an aggravated scale. So how you will regulate AI? You will regulate AI by keeping this in 5 risk zones, 4 risk zones. What are those risk zones? Number first risk zones is unacceptable. Number second risk zone is that it is high risk. Number third, it's limited, and number fourth, it's minimal. So any high risk application of the AI system, it needs to be heavily regulated. There are certain SOPs for implementation. What are those SOPs? Number first, any high risk, you need to have strict review. After monitoring that, you need to have post market compliance, and you also need to inform the end user. You also need to be informed. You as end user guys should also be informed with regards to the deployment of AI with regards to this. So please keep this in mind, guys. This article is very, very important from the mains perspective and the prelims perspective too. So make sure that you are summarizing this article with full potential. Okay. So now let's move ahead to the discussion of other articles. Okay. So this is a headline article, guys. You just need to remember from the prelims perspective. Okay. So the first article from the headline perspective today is that the Government of India or the Defense Ministry of India has laid a foundation stone for Coast Guard harbor in the Maldives. Okay, what do you mean by this? That India has now already been supplying petrol vehicles. It has already been supplying military vessels to Maldives. Maldives is very important from IOR perspective, Indian Ocean Region Maritime perspective. So India needs Maldives to counter the impact of China's BRI initiative, Belt and Road Initiative. So this is a headline article that it has been laid for the foundation stone for Coast Guard Harbor in Maldives. So a foundation stone for Maldives National Defense Forces Coast Guard Ekta Harbor. The name of the harbor is Ekta Harbor. The deployment of Coast Guard Harbor and repair facilities at Sifavaru is one of the biggest grant in ed projects of India. Please remember this. So if you are asked any information, any article with regards to what aid the India is giving to the Maldivian region, what aid or what foray India is doing in the IOR region. So the biggest grant in ed project in the IOR region by India is this, the deployment of Coast Guard Harbor. What is the name of the harbor? Ekta Harbor. And the repair facility as Sifa Faru is one of the biggest granted projects of India. Okay. And I want each and every one of you to memorize and quote this. I want each and every one of you to utilize this information in your answers. So please memorize and quote this very, very properly. What you need to memorize? Okay. Peace, stability, and security in the region, and recognize the need to work together to address common security challenges. So if any question comes from IOR perspective, if any question comes from the maritime security of IOR region, you need to ensure which three things? Number first, peace. Number two, stability. And number three, security in this region, and recognize the need to work together to address common security challenges. They underscored the importance of respecting international law and rules based international order. You need to recognize what? International law and international rule based order. Okay, what is the international rule based order? UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on Law of Seas. Okay, an article will come, don't worry, an article will come from this perspective in the future and express their commitment to upholding these principles. So they do express their commitments to upholding these principles. So I need every one of you to memorize and quote this. What you need to memorize and quote with regards to this article, that what is important in our region? Peace, stability, and security. And number three, we need to ensure what? That the international law and international rules based order is being adhered to. Okay, so these two things you need to remember from this article's perspective, and make sure that you memorize and quote this and use this in any answer which comes in mains. Guys, this is the utilitarian value of Hindu. Okay, you shouldn't read the article and just leave it. You need to understand where you can apply this information, and that is the primary role of mine with you all. You need to understand how you can apply this information and move ahead. Okay, so the second last article today, again it is a continuing article which we had discussed in the previous session. Okay, so we had discussed on the Sunday's Hindu the highly pathogenic H5N1 virus. Okay, it has already killed 50 million birds, and approximately 100 million birds have been infected globally, and approximately majority of the birds who have contracted this, they are on the verge of dying. And this virus has a mortality rate of staggering 60%, guys, with the humans. So if you have this virus being transferred to the mammals, those persons who are in close contact with poultry, and if a person catches that virus, the mortality rate is staggering at 60%. So please make sure that you understand this article from this perspective too. Okay. Housing one of the largest livestock reserves across the world, India is at the risk and vulnerable to the ongoing outbreaks of avian influenza H5N1. Okay, prelims perspective. Worldwide, and the worry compounded by the threat of mammalian transmission, authorities have said. So, any virus which jumps from birds, it will come to mammals, zoonotic diseases. So, any pathogen which is being transferred from a non-human contact to a human, it will be called as zoonotic disease. So, avian influenza can become a zoonotic disease. It has the potential of becoming a new pandemic, and frankly no one wants the pandemic again. Okay, so across the world the virus has been detected among the wild birds and other species, which makes the chance of it mutating becoming more harmful. Okay, so there have been the sampling of the virus. Okay, India has been dealing with influenza since 2006 and 7, and there is no vaccine for high pathogenic avian influenza. So, as of now, we don't have any vaccine for avian influenza. Currently, we have checked 115 samples from hotspots such as water bodies and poultry farms. Out of this, only one case was found positive from Alappuzha in Kerala. So, do you have H5N1 case in India? Yes. Up till now, only one case which has come from Alappuzha in Kerala. So please remember this virus from prelims perspective. What is the recent strain of avian influenza? It is called as H5N1, and this strain is causing havoc globally. Roughly 50 million birds have been already killed, 100 million have been infected. It has a high risk factor of being transported to the mammals, and if it comes to human beings, we have a staggering figure of mortality rate of roughly 60%. But uh, there is no scope for panicking now. Why? Because the transmission of virus from one person to other person is low. So if a human is contacting this, like if I am contacting this virus, so me transferring to this virus to you, it has not yet been documented. So the transmissibility between human to human is low, like the transmissibility between COVID and the other kind of virus. So transmissibility of the COVID virus was very high. Even the mutations of those virus. So the first mutation which came, then you had the Delta, then you have the Omicron. So Omicron had a very high transmissibility. So such transmissibility is not seen in H5N1 virus. So that's a word of sigh of relief for everyone, but you need to be doubly cautious. Okay. So the last article of today that I will be discussing with you all. Okay. So the last article is this, that IMD is forecasting a major tropical cyclone to be forming in the Bay of Bengal. Okay. So the Indian Meteorological Department on Wednesday said that they expect a cyclone likely to form in Bay of Bengal by early next week, but its strength, direction, and impact are yet to be gauged. Now, all of you know that we are suffering from global warming induced climate change. Bay of Bengal is warming, Arabian Sea is warming. Rather, the Arabian Sea has warmed up more as compared to Bay of Bengal. This is called as what, guys? This is called as Indian Ocean Dipole. Okay, so Indian Ocean Dipole is basically the difference of temperatures between the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. Geographically speaking, Bay of Bengal should warm up more because it is more enclosed as compared to Arabian Sea. But now Arabian Sea has started to warm up more. Okay, so as of late years, we had more cyclones developing from the Arabian Sea because of the shift in the IOD. Okay, so a low pressure system is usually a precursor to the development of cyclone, and according to IMD's calculation, it is expected to take shape on May 7th. Okay, IMD has 5-step classification for cyclones, with relatively the weakest classified as cyclonic storm. The wind speed is around 65 to 68, and the strongest being a super cyclonic storm, more than 222 kmph speed. You all know tropical cyclones, they have a low pressure core, and that low pressure core is warm pressure core area. It has having a very high layer of convergence of winds, and when the winds converge, they starts to swirl, and that is the swirling of cyclone. And the classification of the cyclone is based on how fast the winds are swirling along this low pressure core. So a cyclonic storm, the first step, it is between 65 to 68 kmph. Okay, a super cyclonic storm will be more than 222 kmph. A severe cyclonic storm, 89 to 117, is just one step above the cyclonic storm. Okay, so in which times the cyclonic storms are more frequent? Cyclonic storms are more frequent in India's neighborhood around May, October, and November, or coincide with the advent or departure of the monsoon. Okay, so when do the tropical cyclones normally form in the Bay of Bengal? They form either in May or October and November. It is closely linked to what? To the advent or the departure of the Indian monsoon. You all know, guys, India's climate is majorly monsoonal. Whatever climate we have in India is all interlinked to the monsoons over India. Okay, so please make sure that you are comfortable with this info, that the cyclones which are formed, they coincide closely with the onset and the departure of the Indian monsoon over the Indian peninsula. Okay, and what the cyclone has been named, this will be the first cyclone to form this year, and it will be called as cyclone Mocha. It will be called as cyclone Mocha. The name was proposed by Yemen after the Red Sea port city, following an international convention on naming of cyclones. Okay, so the first homework I gave you today is that you need to do what? You need to do assessment of the father of AI, what the father of AI said when he quitted Google yesterday. The second homework which I'm giving you all today is that you need to see what is the naming of tropical cyclones, how the tropical cyclones are named. I will give you a hint. It is a list. Okay, every country will give 10 names, and the names are chosen on alphabetical order. So every countries are grouped alphabetically. Every country will have a list of 10 names, and once one country has named a cyclone, then the sequence is shifted alphabetically. So you have to do the second homework, that you have to understand how is the naming of tropical cyclones done. So please remember the article from this perspective, that when do the tropical cyclones develop? They closely develop with the advent or with the departure of monsoons. How are the tropical cyclones named? They are named in alphabetical order. Each country will have a list of 10 names, and it is chosen alphabetically. Okay, so guys, these were the important articles today. I hope that this session was enlightening to you all. I'm again reiterating my name to everyone. My name is Pritesh Mathurkar. You can reach out to me on Telegram by doing a global search at the rate Hindu Analysis Zone, and the name of the channel is HAZ. Okay. Before I conclude, guys, please understand the gravity of these sessions. I know some of you must be wondering why these sessions are so intense, because this is what is needed. You just stick with me for 2 months. After 2 months, all of you will come to me and say that, sir, yes, we are benefiting greatly. I am doing this so that you all prosper in civil service examination. When I was preparing, I didn't have such able guidance. So I was left in lingo. Now you all have this privilege of getting this PDFs directly, of discussion of this PDFs directly. So please utilize this information very, very properly. And I want that each and every one of you should succeed in civil services examination. Okay. So with this, I call off today's session. I hope that those who watched this session, this was enlightening to you all. And those who will watch the sessions in the future, you will also be able to correlate with me. Okay. So thank you, Anup. Thank you, Jagriti. I welcome you all, and I hope that this journey continues with me and you for eternity till the time you qualify the civil services examination. I sign off. See you all tomorrow sharp at 9 a.m. Thank you.